The purpose of the story is to introduce some basic concepts relating to production. And this we do through a story of a hypothetical village called Palampur. Farming is the main activity in Palampur, whereas several other activities, such as small-scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc., are carried out on a limited scale. These production activities need various types of resources: natural resources, man-made items, human effort, money, etc. As we read through the story of Palampur, we will learn how various resources combine to produce the desired goods and services in the village. Palampur is well connected with neighboring villages and towns. Irrigation, a big village, is 3 km from Palampur. An all-weather road connects the village to Irrigation, and further on to the nearest small town of Shahpur. Many kinds of transport are visible on this road, starting from bullock carts, tongas, bogies loaded with jaggery and other commodities, to motor vehicles like motorcycles, jeeps, tractors and trucks. This village has about 450 families, belonging to several different castes. The 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. Their houses, some of them quite large, are made of brick with cement plastering. The SCS comprise 1/3 of the population, and live in one corner of the village, and in much smaller houses, some of which are of mud and straw. Most of the houses have electric connections. Electricity powers all the tube wells in the fields and is used in various types of small business. Palampur has 2 primary schools and 1 high school. There is a primary health center run by the government, and 1 private dispensary where the sick are treated. The story of Palampur, an imaginary village, will take us through the different types of production activities in the village. In villages across India, farming is the main production activity. The other production activities, referred to as non-farm activities, include small manufacturing, transport, shopkeeping, etc. We shall take a look at both these types of activities after learning a few general things about production.
Dear students, we are going to learn about organization of production at Palampur. The aim of production is to produce the goods and services that we want. There are 4 requirements for production of goods and services. They are land, labor, capital, and enterprise.
The first requirement is land. Land refers to all natural resources. All natural resources either on the surface of the earth, or below the surface of the earth, or above the surface of the earth is land. One uses the land to produce goods. It is the primary and natural factor of production. All gifts of nature such as rivers, oceans, land, climate, mountains, mines, forests, etc. are land. The second requirement is labor, that is people who will do the work. Some production activities require highly educated workers to perform the necessary tasks. Other activities require workers who can do manual work. Each worker is providing the labor necessary for production. The third requirement is physical capital, that is the variety of inputs required at every stage during production. It consists of tangible, human-made goods that assist in the process of creating a product or service. The machinery, buildings, office or warehouse supplies, vehicles, and computers that a company owns are all considered part of its physical capital. Tools and machines range from very simple tools such as a farmer's plow to sophisticated machines such as generators, turbines, computers, etc. Tools, machines, buildings can be used in production over many years and are called fixed capital. Production requires a variety of raw materials such as the yarn used by the weaver and the clay used by the potter. Also, some money is always required during production to make payments and buy other necessary items. Raw materials and money in hand are called working capital. Unlike tools, machines, and buildings, these are used up in production. There is a fourth requirement too. You will need knowledge and enterprise To be able to put together land, labor, and physical capital. And produce an output either to use yourself or to sell in the market. This these days is called human capital. Every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital and human capital, which are known as factors of production. As we read through the story of Palampur, we will learn more about the first three factors of production. For convenience, we will refer to the physical capital as the capital in this chapter. Land area under cultivation is practically fixed. Since 1960 in Palampur, there has been no expansion in land area under cultivation. By then, some of the wastelands in the village had been converted to cultivable land. There exists no further scope to increase farm production by bringing new land under cultivation.
The standard unit of measuring land is hectare, though in the villages, you may find land area being discussed in local units, such as bigha, gintha etc. 1 hectare equals the area of a square, with one side measuring 100 meters. In the kind of crops grown, and facilities available, Palampur would resemble a village of the western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. All land is cultivated in Palampur. No land is left idle. During the rainy season, Kharif, farmers grow jowar and bajra. These plants are used as cattle feed. It is followed by cultivation of potato between October and December. In the winter season, Rabi, fields are sown with wheat. From the wheat produced, farmers keep enough wheat for the family's consumption, and sell the surplus wheat at the market at Raiganj. A part of the land area is also devoted to sugarcane, which is harvested once every year. Sugarcane, in its raw form, or as jaggery, is sold to traders in Shahpur. The main reason why farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in a year in Palampur is due to the well-developed system of irrigation. Electricity came early to Palampur. Its major impact was to transform the system of irrigation. Persian wheels were, till then, used by farmers to draw water from the wells and irrigate small fields. People saw that the electric run tube wells could irrigate much larger areas of land more effectively. The first few tube wells were installed by the government. Soon, however, farmers started setting up private tube wells. As a result, by mid-1970s, the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares was irrigated. To grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. It is the most common way of increasing production on a given piece of land. All farmers in Palampur grow at least two main crops. Many are growing potato as the third crop in the past 15 to 20 years. You have seen that one way of increasing production from the same land is by multiple cropping. The other way is to use modern farming methods for higher yield. Yield is measured as crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. Till the mid-1960s, the seeds used in cultivation were traditional ones with relatively low yields. Traditional seeds needed less irrigation. Farmers used cow dung and other natural manure as fertilizers. All these were readily available with the farmers who did not have to buy them.
The Green Revolution in the late 1960s introduced the Indian farmer to cultivation of wheat and rice, using high-yielding varieties of seeds. Compared to the traditional seeds, the HYV seeds promised to produce much greater amounts of grain on a single plant. As a result, the same piece of land would now produce far larger quantities of food grains than was possible earlier. HYV seeds, however, needed plenty of water and also chemical fertilizers and pesticides to produce best results. Higher yields were possible only from a combination of HYV seeds, irrigation, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, etc. Farmers of Punjab, Haryana, and western Uttar Pradesh were the first to try out the modern farming method in India. The farmers in these regions set up tube wells for irrigation and made use of HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides in farming. Some of them bought farm machinery like tractors and threshers, which made plowing and harvesting faster. They were rewarded with high yields of wheat. In Palampur, the yield of wheat grown from the traditional varieties was 1,300 kilograms per hectare. With HYV seeds, the yield went up to 3,200 kilograms per hectare. There was a large increase in the production of wheat. Farmers now had greater amounts of surplus wheat to sell in the markets. Farmers of Punjab, Haryana, and western Uttar Pradesh were the first to try out the modern farming method in India. The farmers in these regions set up tube wells for irrigation and made use of HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides in farming. Some of them bought farm machinery like tractors and threshers, which made plowing and harvesting faster. They were rewarded with high yields of wheat. In Palampur, the yield of wheat grown from the traditional varieties was 1,300 kilograms per hectare. With HYV seeds, the yield went up to 3,200 kilograms per hectare. There was a large increase in the production of wheat. Farmers now had greater amounts of surplus wheat to sell in the markets.